Okay, this part of the assembly guide deals with the beginning of the engine assembly. So for the engines, you'll have 4 pieces each of these 3 parts. One thing is hard to figure out how to make reference to with regards to the engines is the fact that you have this piece which has all the detail on it, and when it's on display in the model, it's in this position. So technically it's the bottom of the engine. So I'm going to call this the bottom of the engine. This is the top of the engine. Has no detail on it at all. And then there's the ring that joins the two together. So this is going to be rather brief and simple. You take the top, and you put the ring on it like so. And you might want to test both sides of this because it fits a bit looser on one side than it does the other. I'm not going to say why, but it has to do with sloppy workmanship. So the other, and of course the converse is true, or the opposite is true. The engine, its bottom, fits tighter on one side than it does the other. And so you have to fuss with it. And it goes together. It doesn't really matter which way. It's going to go together anyway. Okay, so this is the way the pieces assemble. But you don't do that now. There's a reason for that. And I'll show you why. Here we have 4 engine assemblies. And the reason I'm showing these to you now is because the idea of paint is rearing its ugly head. If you were to install these in the bottom of the ship right now, where they are facing each other in this group of 4 in here, it's hard to get the paint in there if they're already glued in place. So, and also there is the piece that's sitting in the middle here, which I don't have up here. That interferes because it's just there. It blocks everything. So, you need to paint these things before you ever put them on. The other reason that we're not dealing with that right now is that the 4 engines, as you are aware, each pair of engines captures part of the landing gear. That piece mounts between these engines. So the engines have these 2 holes located 90 degrees from each other. If I can put this up right. Here's one here pointing up this way, and here's one here pointing out that way. And so what happens is the neighboring engines capture what's called the horizontal strut of the landing gear. And that's not an issue because the landing gear is designed to come apart. That is to say, it may be captured by these 2, but it isn't permanent. However, aligning these 4 pieces so that everything lines up is a chore. Not a big chore, just relative to all the other chores. That's why we don't glue these in place yet, because we're not at that step. We don't have the landing gear to mess with yet. But I want you to be aware of it way before you ever get there so you don't go, oh, I think I'll glue the engines in place. Now, if you're just aching to glue something onto the base plate, glue the bottom or the top of the engine piece in place. That'll solve the whole issue. And you can still paint it. But anyway, you can do it either way. Just don't put this whole thing in there because you won't be able to paint them. Okay. That's the first part of engine assembly. Now, the second part will involve the hexagonal shroud and all those little nozzles that are on. This is why, these pieces are why each engine has like a ridiculous number of parts. I forget what it is, but it's a lot. So anyway, we're going to move on.